If you were a real X-Men fan in the 90s, then you were well aware of the existence of the Third Summers Brothers mystery. Back in the day, any and every new character that appeared on a comic book panel had the potential of being that long-lost brother. It wasn't until 2005 that we finally got our answer. It was Vulcan. Who is Vulcan, you ask? Well, he was a completely brand new character created by Ed Brubaker at the time. There was a slight oversight, however, as there were already plenty of false leads and red herrings hinting that another character was actually the real brother. And that character was Adam X, aka x-treme. And if that wasn't confusing enough, another writer had a different idea as to who the Third Summers brother should be. And it was none other than Gambit. Somehow, some way, all three of these characters canonically exist as Summers brothers, if even by the vaguest of terms. This is the secret origin of the Third Summers brother. In 1975, X-Men 51, Scott Summers, aka Cyclops, creates a fake persona. He calls himself Eric the Red. 2 years later, it's revealed that there is a real Eric the Red. The real Eric the Red was an agent of the Shi'ar, the same group of aliens that kidnapped Cyclops' parents, forcing young Scott and Alex Summers to parachute from their exploding plane and into the clutches of Nathaniel Essex, who was secretly Mr. Sinister. Mr. Sinister placed the boys in his own care at an orphanage he ran. Scott revealed that he had recognized Sinister from a dream he once had. Obviously, Sinister attempted to erase any trace of that incident from Scott's mind, but failed to do so. In 1993, Sinister hinted to Scott that he was always looking after him and his brothers. At this particular time in the 90s, Adam X was heavily hinted to be the Third Summers brother. A half Shi'ar, half human hybrid with the power to charge blood with explosive energy, Adam X fit the bill as a potential brother. In an interview with Fabian Nicieza, it was revealed that Adam X was supposed to be the love child of Catherine Summers and Shi'ar Emperor D'Ken. And it made complete sense, being that the Summers were the only humans in the Shi'ar Empire at the time, especially with the potential to born a mutant with energy manipulation powers. Although being a son of Catherine seemed improbable, because it was Christopher's genes that held the energy manipulation mutant potential. Further, Adam X had a connection to Christopher's father, not Catherine's father. In 2005, the possibility of Adam X being D'Ken and Catherine's love child was retconned out of existence, as it's revealed that Catherine was actually pregnant at the time and murdered upon forced delivery. The fetus was torn from Catherine's womb, hyper-aged, and then sent back to Earth to become a slave in Eric the Red's slave pens. Gabriel Summers somehow escaped captivity and was later found amnesiac in the New York sewers. At the same time that Ed Brubaker was revealing Gabriel Summers' existence to the world, another writer confirmed the longtime suspect as a Summers brother. X-Men The End was written by Chris Claremont, the creator of Gambit and Mr. Sinister. In the story, we are shown that Gambit is actually Sinister's attempt at creating a new body, with Summers' DNA, for energy manipulation abilities. It's then revealed that Apocalypse sent his agents in the Thieves Guild to steal Gambit away and raise him. This explained Gambit's vague origins and his deep ties to Sinister. Back in 1997, it was revealed that Gambit was working for Sinister in the past, but Sinister had a soft spot for Gambit for some reason, although it was never explained. Sinister never really cared for his employees or his clones. Gambit was neither. He must have been something special. Sinister held few things dearly. One of the few was remnants of his past life as Nathaniel Essex. Sinister kept his preserved dead son, Adam Essex, in his lab. Adam's death was the catalyst that began Sinister's obsession with death and immortality. And Apocalypse knew this, so when Apocalypse went to punish Sinister, he took the one thing that would hurt him the most. Gambit was Adam Essex. Reborn through the same methods used to revive Gabriel Summers, the key was in the Summers energy manipulation gene, and perhaps the use of another latent ability. Sinister manipulated the Summers gene from the very beginning by creating the Black Womb Project. The Black Womb Project was built around one of the first mutants that Sinister had ever met. Her name was Amanda Mueller. Amanda is also Cyclops, Havoc's, and Vulcan's great-great-grandmother. Amanda Mueller's mutant ability gave her an extended lifespan, but her body still aged. So how does this tie exactly to Gambit? Well, Gambit has the exact same ability as seen in future versions of him known as the Witness. Another version of Gambit known as the New Sun is a version of Gambit that never had his powers surgically neutered by Sinister. Gambit's power potential is identical to that of Vulcan's. That begs the question whether it's a mere coincidence that Gabriel Summers was wandering through the New York sewers of all places after escaping the slave pens, or was this something more sinister? The New York sewers just so happens to be the location of one of Sinister's most prominent labs. So how does Adam X factor into all of this? Well, in 1994, it is revealed in X-Men number 39 that Mr. Sinister and Eric the Red know of each other, and they have a mutual interest in Adam X. Of all the billions of humans to remove from Earth, Eric chose to take the two that were in Sinister's way. This was no mere coincidence. Sinister must have tasked Eric the Red to take Christopher and Catherine Summers away, so that he could have full access to the Summers brothers, and this includes Gabriel Summers, who he demanded was returned to Earth, so that he can test the Summers resurrection method on his own son. That explains why Cyclops subconsciously created the Eric the Red persona. He must have stumbled into a meeting between Sinister and Eric the Red, and that's when Sinister attempted to erase his memory, only to erase parts of it. And this partnership also explains why Gabriel Summers was wandering through the New York sewers. Eric and Sinister's partnership may also explain why their technologies are so similar. Besides technologies, there's also something else Eric the Red would have wanted in return. As revealed in Captain Marvel number 3, Adam X was created to usurp the Shi'ar throne. Eric had access to Emperor Deken's DNA, and Sinister had a plan. Sinister and Eric created Adam X. Ever wonder why Adam X looks so much like Gambit? They are both 6'1" and weigh approximately 180 pounds. They both charge things with explosive energy. The truth was in his name all along. Adam X is Adam Essex, a clone of Adam Essex designed to take over an entire star system and claim it for the Essex name. Ironically, Vulcan, who was the real Third Summers brother, flew across space, married into Deken's family, and took the Shi'ar Empire for himself, thus following Sinister's plan for Shi'ar domination. Vulcan essentially became what Adam X was created to do. Sinister's obsession to take over the Shi'ar Empire also makes sense, as Sinister knew that the Shi'ar were the guardians of the M'Kraan crystal, which just so happens to house the White Hot Room, home of the Phoenix Force.